And Spotty, I'm trying to get the link to share the group me chat. So, okay, you all, just briefly, I know I look a mess, I feel a mess. Since we last met, my mother had an appointment down here in Houston at MD Anderson. And unfortunately, I had to rush her to the emergency room last night. I look a mess, I feel a mess. Uh, and they had to rush her. I had to rush her to the ER last night, and she had an emergency surgery this morning. So keep my family, me and my mom and family in your prayers, please, please, please. But yeah, so yeah, yeah. So let's get through this and bear with me and just keep us in prayer. So if you all have not looked at the what do you call it? The survey, please do that. I did create surveys for is somebody near a computer where they can pull up like a share their screen? Because I don't, again, I'm got a makeshift situation going on right now. Is somebody in a position where they can share their screen, like with the agenda on it for us? It's okay. Let me do it this way. If you all need to look at it, it actually is in the chat, okay? And let me go through it from here. So while I'm pulling this up, I want to do a one-word check-in and ask, thank you so much, Lamont. I want to do a one-word check-in, and I want to ask everybody to check in with what would be your one-word check-in to like your overall one-word check-in for the event. Okay. Y'all put it in the chat. Once you share, I want you to put it in the chat too. So y'all don't make me call names. Y'all just jump in and let us know. Lamont, your tabs look like mine's.
Yeah, I delete, then I add 10 more.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
What was the question?
The question, our one word check in, what would be your overview? Like if you were to use one word to describe or your thoughts about our event on Saturday. Y'all unmute and tell us and then put it in the chat.
Think I'm unmuted, but I feel energized right now.
Okay, energized. Okay.
I said successful.
Successful. That's beautiful.
I said adaptive.
Okay. I may want you to elaborate on that one.
I mean, it was see a need, feel a need. I mean, kind of
Okay.
what you told us the week
Yeah.
before. Don't show your keep your poker face on, and amidst all of the, the little
Yeah.
nuances and some of the unique challenges that we went through. Some
Yes.
weren't our fault. We still were able to pull it together. And
Mm.
we adapted. We saw a need, we felt the need, even in the midst of the rain and everything else. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
we made it happen and nobody complained.
Right.
Everybody did what they needed to do and made sure to check on everybody to make sure we had a successful run of show.
Right. That's good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. One word check in. Y'all unmute and let us know what y'all's thoughts were for the overall encompassing event.
Spectacular.
Okay.
With all what Ron said, it came out very well.
Okay. Okay.
I would say collaborative.
Collaborative. I like that. I
I
like
said
that.
impactful.
What, say that again, Dia.
Impactful.
Okay, good deal. Y'all make sure y'all capture your words in the chat too, so I can save them. So put your words in the chat as well. Who else hasn't gone? Uh, Dr. Tawana, did you share?
Yes, I was first. I said successful.
Successful, that's right. Okay. Um, my one word check-in would be, of course, absolutely amazing. Y'all know that's my word. But I would say absolutely incredible. Okay. And that was the word that the representative from Dallas College used when he talked about the event. So thank you all for sharing your one word check-ins. Make sure you drop it in the chat so I can capture that information. And so let me look at the time because I want to make sure we stay on our time. So the next thing I have on here, I really wanted to talk through the surveys, but the last time I checked, I didn't see that we had received more than a couple in. So please, y'all, promise me y'all will take a second and complete those surveys. I actually have, let me ask this first before I say this. Did anybody else create any surveys or anything for the event? Okay, so I have created before all of the things that transpired in the last 24 hours in my life, in my family, my mother's. I was working on it and had created the sign up sheet for the volunteers, which is you all, but also for our overall community volunteers. And also, I've created a survey for the spectators and parents, and I've created one for the participants. Now, what I was going to do is send out three separate emails, but then I concluded that I'm going to create one, and I've already created an email. I'm going to tweak it where I can include all the links in one email and send it all out. Because one thing Tony brought to my attention on the Eventbrite, because we had various type of tickets that we made available, the final count that they're giving us is not broken down. So it's not, I can't easily right now. I need to figure it. If it is a way, I just haven't figured it out yet. And because I'm working with one screen, that kind of cripples me. But I don't see that I can easily, and again with one screen, I can't easily oh, hold on, let me see. I can't easily extract one particular survey. Export list from the other. So anyway, so I will send that out as soon as I get a chance. Again, y'all bear with me. Y'all hold on one second. Jasmine. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, you all. I had to take that. So I will send that out. So our final numbers, Tony, are you in a position where you can get those final numbers? I think if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure we kind of rounded up because I know personally a few people came in that did not sign in and check in for various reasons. But our I'm gonna say rounded off close to 200, but it was like 60, 60, 60. So basically 180 to 200 throughout the day. And even when Lamont, Keenan, and myself were there, no, Andre, I'm sorry, Andre and Keenan and I were there putting up everything. We still had a few people that were coming in because the flyer said, Dia, are you in a position to take notes for me?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, thank you. Please, please, please. And anybody else that can make notes of some of the, some things that we want to correct and make sure we do better in the future. Um, but we'll go with the number 175 or 180 for the whole entire day. So it was roughly, is that right? 180. So 166.60, 180. Tony, I'm sorry. Tony, your hand was, oh, you're muted.
Oh, am I still muted?
No, I can hear you.
Okay. Yes, there is a way to extract the information separately with the spectators and
Okay.
gamers and all of that. I found that the day before the event,
Okay.
and I'm getting ready to go to see if I can get the total number.
So I
But
can get the
anyway,
numbers. Yeah, I can get the
okay.
numbers. And so that's when I'm rounding off to about 60 in each section, in each
Mhm.
from spectators, volunteers, and participants. So that's where I'm rounding off, just for easy numbering, 180 to 200. But when I try, like, I want to send out that volunteer list, the volunteer
Mhm.
surveys, I'm sorry. I don't see where it's allowing me to break that down and export the list. Okay.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, yes, if you can do that for me, if you could send it to me in an Excel sheet, that would be perfect.
All right.
Okay, so let's if no one has anything else, we can go ahead and move on. Okay, scroll down. Okay, good deal. Technology Expo and speakers. We're gonna come back to all of that. Team members. Okay, we can go to the key day event operations. And you all, again, I apologize because of my situation. This is not the best agenda. I did the best I could for my phone, but the registration process, and the check-in and that particular area, Dia and Dr. Smith and anybody else want to chime in on that?
I think the check-in process was covered pretty well. But like when I got there early in the morning, there was about 2 to 3 people already there. And then throughout the day, I think every single one of those chairs was filled up at all times to help people get checked in.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Okay, Dr. Smith.
Um, I'm just thinking, I think we worked through it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking if we're talking gaming, I just see us doing more things electronically versus paper.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that somehow we can come up with a more electronic system where they just kind of touch the QR code and do like a check, like instead of doing a full form, maybe um, their name and submit to say that they're there, and then somehow it aligns with the checklist that we have, and it takes them off or something. But I'm
Right.
not this, and I know it's something out there where it can be
Mm-hmm.
done. Um, but I'm just thinking when we talk about tech and we're doing something on that line, how it should
Mm-hmm.
be a little bit more mainstream. I'm
Right.
sorry, my husband is in dreamland.
There is a way on Eventbrite where you can check in, where you
Yeah.
scan the code. The when they come in with their ticket, you scan it and it'll check them in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One thing that I would say is like that media consent that you had them do with the QR code, that could be put into um, the registration for is um,
Mm-hmm.
on Eventbrite. You
Mm-hmm.
remember we had talked about it before, and then you had me remove it, but all of that that was there can be put into the Eventbrite where they approve
Mm-hmm.
consent, they give permission, anything you want, go in the Eventbrite. So when they
Right.
come in, they scan, we can scan the barcode and they're checked in.
Correct, correct. And one thing you and I talked about, there was an opportunity to ask some more questions to be a little more strategic and personalized in that survey. But I think we kind of discovered some of that kind of after the fact, or maybe I did. But let's definitely make note of that. Absolutely, and great bringing that out, Dr. Smith, for sure. I totally agree with that. Um,
Yeah,
mhm.
that part right there was Tony. Smith brought that other part up. This is Tony speaking right now. Also with the gamers, there's a specific link. I don't know if they talked to you about that. We were sending them to a Google to complete the registration, but there's a different link that goes directly to TGE, not the link that we had up there.
Interesting. So you're saying the Google
Yes,
form that I
because they
had?
had to do the brackets. Yeah, they
Uh,
made the brackets that day at the event, and he showed me it's some kind of start.gg
oh
is
wow,
the link that they will go to that goes directly to them. Therefore, they can do the
like
brackets the
this.
night before.
Okay, can you write that out? Um, And everybody, even if you don't bring it up tonight, please make note of all of the specifics. So we can make a checklist out of it. And if you all just put it in on a sheet of paper and email it to me, I'll put it in Chat GPT and have them put an entire checklist together. Because everything that you all have brought attention to tonight, I totally agree 100%. So that's good that you pointed that out, and we'll make sure we use that or review all of it and combine and set something that covers all of it and in the most efficient way for sure. Okay. So TGE's registration for the brackets, the electronic process via Eventbrite, and then including the media approval and all of the consents in one space. So yeah. Okay. Anybody else with
So can
uh-huh.
you tell me, like, I didn't even pay attention to the check-in and registration once they entered. What was the process when they come in? They had to do what?
Dia or Dr. Tawana, either
So
one of
when
you.
they came in, they had to check in at the front, and then the person looked for their name on the list to make sure that they had registered. Once they said yes, I registered, and they used the QR code to actually check in again, to say that they were there, and then they were given a wristband.
Well,
So
part of that, the reason why I did it that way, because I think Tony is explaining there is a way. I've only known Eventbrite to uh to collect specific basic information, and I wanted more information person, like the school that they came from, like what was their school, their age group. I asked some other specific questions, and I'm not sure, and if it does, I'm just not aware of it. I didn't think that Eventbrite allows you to really personalize and collect like all those details, like I put in that particular form, like selecting the game that they were going to compete on.
Yes, you can do all of that
Okay.
in Eventbrite. The only
Okay.
problem is getting the information to the TGE, but that's with the link.
Right. That's
That
right. I knew it
is
was
that.
some reason why in the past that we've done it that way, because they actually had access on the back end. So let's all make note of that, and we'll put someone in charge to communicate with TGE to make sure we kind of condense that process and make that process a lot smoother. Okay. So, and then I know one thing that came up that was a concern for Dia and Dr. Smith, that you all didn't have very many people, if anybody, that signed up in the afternoon. What do you, those of us that were there in the afternoon, was it obvious that we didn't have enough manpower, or what were you all's thoughts about that?
I don't think it was, because I think they started thinning out. When the
Hmm.
people started thinning out, I don't think you could really tell
Right.
that. I mean, I think it was sufficient.
Hmm. Right. Okay.
We're
Okay.
talking about
Anybody else?
participants or volunteers standing out.
The participants vote.
Participants started thinning out about 1, 2-ish. You could kind of see through the crowd, and I mean, there were a few volunteers still there. But I think, I mean, I don't know. And then the volunteers actually kind of started thinning out around the same time.
Right.
But I
No,
think what was left was sufficient. I think if we had had 10, 15 people, they probably would have just been walking over each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Cool beans. Cool beans. Okay. Anybody have any more comments there? If not, we're gonna move on. Okay, registration tournament flow. Okay, what do you all think about the tournament flow, timing, all of that stuff?
okay, so I think that goes with why the kids stand out. So as our DJ, I looked around and after they had their hour or 2 hours on the game, it was just kind of dead for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So some activity has to be structured right there. Like I was thinking in the moment, hey, everybody get up and we're gonna play line dance songs and get the kids out of their seats. But I didn't, that wasn't part of the agenda. So, but even our vendors have vendors that are engaged, that's in their sheet, like engage with the students
Mm-hmm.
and not just kind of sit behind their booth or however that looks. But like at the STEM Expo in at Fair Park, I was in a booth that had a Hot Wheels cars thing, and they had to create a Hot Wheels track, and so that would take up some of that time between the game,
Mm-hmm.
then free time, and then the competition.
So for those, and I don't know if anybody is, well, Tony was in the group months ago. And when I've talked about the vendors, and see, now all of you all have gotten to see what I've witnessed the last several years. And it's been recorded that I specifically stated and shared that. And again, I don't think half of you all were on the calls at that point. I had joined the group. But I always said with the vendors, we need interactive vendors. I kept stressing interactive vendors. That's how Perot Museum came in, because what Dwight just basically explained is that once people fell out of bracket, they left. And so my goal has been, and what I shared with Angel and with Chris, is that I wanted something to draw the people and the kids to want to stay and engage them outside and beyond the tournament component. So now y'all have had the opportunity to see exactly what I was talking about, because early on my requests were, there's a gaming truck with the YMCA, Perot Museum. Some of the Dallas College, had we contact them in advance, they have the gaming teams where they could have set up freestyle, free play gaming. The coding, I reached out to iCode in Plano, hoping that we could have did a coding component. I reached out to Code Wiz in Keller. Those are some of the things that I threw out early on that were a part of my request for that specific reason. Did happen, but now you all have seen why that's necessary if we're going to hold everybody. I think and we're going to definitely get to it later on in the call, but I do pray, I do want to get some feedback as to how many of you will be willing to stay on board for us to pull off the fifth year, which is a milestone for this particular event. So if so, we would have some time to make sure. And even the career truck, the career lab truck from DISD, those are all interactive opportunities that can engage the kids. A photo booth, some things, a robotics table. That's why I was wanting to turn Southern. Also the 3D printing. So those were some of the things that I was hoping that we could have done. So now you all have seen that. Dia's taking notes. We'll put that all in a document, all of these things to see if we can secure those things coming up. Okay. Anybody else? So that was good information, Lamont. That aligns with everything that I've talked about. Again, probably before most of you had even joined the team. Another thing I want to make sure to note, so Dia can capture. We can also in advance request some of the local police stations to bring out their robots. They have robots and they also have drones that they'll be more than willing to bring out. And also, what do y'all call the goof, the thing in the dog, McGruff, or the crime guy, whatever? They can bring that mascot out. So those are some things. Also, the young lady, the Courtney Kelly, I believe was her name. She was one of the vendors, and she was talking about how SMU has this huge gaming masters in gaming, and that they have it's in engineering, gaming engineering, I think it's called. But she said that whole department will come out and participate. So we want to tap into all of those resources, all of them. And that component alone, if we start early enough, can have just as much excitement and be just as much as the attention getter and focus of the event. Okay, y'all good? Okay, let's move on. Sponsor. Okay, volunteer engagement. Go down a little bit. Go back up. I'm sorry, back up. Make sure I talked about everything there. Okay, yeah. Go down. Okay, right there. So for me, I want to add this. And please don't take offense, but we got to be straightforward and honest. I don't know if anybody on the call has participated in the past. I was not pleased. I'm not going to say I wasn't pleased at all because I was very pleased with the overall event, but I was irritated to the core with the downtime. Our events in the past have gone a whole lot smoother. I was irritated to the point to blow a fuse every time I turned around and there was dead time. So I definitely would want us to close in the dead times. It should be a smooth running show, back to back to back to back to back to back. Just people just quiet, nothing's happening, the mic is not on, nobody's speaking. That should not happen at all. So we need to make sure we have someone in place that knows how to do that. And we did. Andre knew how to do that because Andre has been with me. So we just need to make sure we're in sync and aligned with one another. People see my vision. That should be a smooth transition and no downtime at all, for sure. And then instead of allowing the children to do free play in the past, that's why I wanted the seats set up in stadium style or lecture style rather, is because we want the kids paying attention to the speakers, not on the games. That was not part of the logistics. So we need to make sure that does not happen. Okay. So I want to again to mention that so it can be captured. And then make sure we do a better job. And another thing I think, and I'll be so this is going into the speaker because I have on here Tech Expo and speakers. Another thing to be noted, like I said, having the children there where they are listening, actually listening to the speakers. But I think for year 5, I would like to have a panel discussion included. So I want to do something different there. And then number 2, I would like for the speakers, I want us to advertise. So I don't know what that looks like, but I do want to throw this out there. So for example, had we said, so just like we were advertising the gaming component, so the gaming event like really kind of not shadow, but it was the main highlight of the event, right? Well, what if we were to say, come out and learn everything you need to know about AI? AI this, the AI explosion, have a focus because right now AI is what's hot. So maybe that morning we talk about some different things, but then we can have one section of it on coding. We just as a group figure out what that main or new how to adapt. I heard somebody use the word adapt earlier. How do you adapt in a world that's being automated? And from a career field, how do you reinvent yourself to make yourself marketable in this climate, right? So you all that are more tech savvy could probably come up with something a little more catchy. But do y'all get the drift of kind of what I'm trying to explain?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So do y'all agree? Y'all gotta unmute. Y'all see I'm losing my voice. We gotta have an interactive meeting. So, but
Well,
I mean, do y'all agree or what? What are y'all's thoughts? I just
Yes,
think
I
that may be
agree
a
with
way
that
to,
100.
yeah, and like market it like we're marketing the gaming component specifically for the kids. How about we market that afternoon, that whole like the speaker component completely, market that for the adults, you know? That's a thought. So now does
well,
anybody go ahead. I'm sorry.
so I think so. I've never been to this event, so I was happy. Well, I'm very critical. I can't help it, but that's kind of my job. But so the downtime. So I think what we could do instead of having like everybody for the pep rally from 9 to 10. Next year we book times like who's going on at 10, who's going on at 11, who's going on. So kind of stagger it throughout the day.
Mhm.
That way,
Oh, the
That's the
entertainment.
way it was
yeah,
supposed
Yeah.
to be, I believe. That's the way it
yeah.
was supposed to be, but we didn't have the people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
And
And the other like so like invite somebody who has like bounce houses or something. So the kids have something to do versus they hanging around. I mean, I felt uncomfortable for some of the kids because their parent was like a bud, a fly on, what, and I was like, man, let the kids go, but there's nowhere for them to go really.
Hmm.
So, somewhere, I don't know, somewhere kids can be active, bounce
Hmm.
houses, or whatever it is. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my mind, but something that to keep the kids there the second half of the day.
Hmm.
I don't
I
know
have
what that
something
would
to,
be.
Lamont, I don't mean to interrupt. I have something to say about that. So, um, I learned later on during the event that, we could have had access to some of the other areas of that space. So maybe making those other areas entertaining, not only for the kids, but for the parents, some games, cornhole, um, and some other stuff, and maybe each of those rooms that we could have used and kept everyone busy instead of, you know, like the parents just looking at what the kids are doing, or all of the kids not having access to playing the games at the same time, and giving them something to do in those other rooms, creating, you know, those other those other games in those rooms. Had we known, or had I known before then, that could have been something
Hmm.
too. But that's just a thought for next time, that you
Right.
maybe utilize the other areas that we have access to creating, those opportunities for everyone to get involved in and be entertained, and not just be, looking at what other people are doing, and vice versa. So
So when
that's it.
so oh, thank you so much for that. I totally agree. When I mentioned iCode and when I
Hmm.
mentioned Kick Code Whiz, that's what I was referring to. So initially, and I sent emails, I made calls. So the first event we ever had, the first tech event we had was a hackathon. We partnered with iCode. iCode came in and ran a day of hackathon, where the kids wrote their own movie script. They did the acting. They used still cameras, video cameras, editing software, and they had got some exposure and experience with flying a drone. And at the end of the day, they created their own silent movie. So I reached out, and when the other gentleman, Chris, was on board, that was one of the things that I said, because like Lamont said, every year, once the kids fall out of bracket, it's like dead. It's not energetic, it's not engaging, it's not exciting. It wasn't anything going on. They left. And so the first, my top priority request coming in was, we got to find a way to engage them, to keep them there. That's how we ended up reaching out to parole. So my initial vision was that the two computer rooms, because I think it's like two or three computer rooms in that particular facility, on that same hallway where the nursing station was set up. My idea was to bring Code Wiz or iCode in, and I made the calls. It was the back and forth, and we just never were able to pull it together. So Keenan, you are correct, and that was the vision that I had, and so that we all seem to be aligning. I pray again that we all stay on key. Dia's making note of it, and we make an extra effort to make sure we make it happen. But when I mentioned about the Courtney young lady from SMU, that was what she was talking about. She said SMU's gaming masters of game in gaming, they will come in and put that whole piece together for us, is what she explained. So we can still reach out to Code Wiz, we can reach out to iCode, but I want to also put it at a top priority to reach out with that team at SMU to see if they can run that component that we all are aligning with. That makes sense.
Absolutely. Well, we have the time now to prepare for next year. So
Mhm.
I agree.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Dr. Shepard, I think I thought you were unmuted.
Oh no, Keenan and Mr. Cotton kind of touched on everything. I would definitely say incorporating those interactive stations, and it doesn't, whether it's a vendor or whatever the case may be, something that's cost efficient, like a sensory table. You can have a table for the little ones where they do puzzles with the different
Mhm.
gaming, coloring sheets. They can have a bracelet station, and all of this is relatively inexpensive. In addition to any vendors that we can secure to do some of those
Mhm.
larger things as well, and then hopefully, barring better weather next year, setting up interactive things that they can do outside. Y'all already mentioned it, like a bounce house, maybe having them build their own little hydroelectric cars. Again, all of this stuff is relatively simple and cost
Mhm.
efficient. It still goes with the whole idea of STEM. So I'm definitely on board with the interactive stations, and just like Keenan, um, it was my first time. Now I got a glimpse of it, so I'm all about planning. So I think
Yeah.
now we kind of know where the gaps were. Everybody's kind of
Right.
addressed them, and we know what we need to do to move forward. So really, like,
Right.
once we solidify that date for 2027, we need to start making those money moves,
Right.
so to speak, to go ahead and get some of these people locked in for next year, and we can build up the
Absolutely.
excitement and promotion,
Right.
along the way.
So do this for me, you all. Dia's capturing all of that. I want us to, because again, y'all are seeing what I see. We're aligning. I'm loving it, because that was what the intention was. But next year is 5. That's a big milestone for us. So let us all push in on that and start bringing back some ideas. Just making note of those things, so that we can put. Because I think it's room to bring. Because if the rest of you all didn't know, we had access to the entire building, as Keenan mentioned, the entire building. So I think it'd be a great idea to bring all of those things to fruition. Now, I will say this. I think personally, and again, I want you all to know that I value your opinions and you all's input. I think I would rather keep all of our interactive activities aligned with tech and STEM. I wanted to keep it all, because there are a lot of activities out there in that space. We just got to think out the box. So that's just my thought. But again, I value everything that everybody says, and we'll collectively make that decision. But if everybody can come up with a list of at least 5 things that we can kind of put in place to capture that interactive energy, engaging energy that's going to keep everybody there. Okay, we good? Oh, Tanika. Okay.
That was an accident.
Okay, good deal, good deal. Okay, anybody else, or we can move on if no one else. Dr. Twana?
I agree, like with everything that's being said. But I think moving forward, also with planning, we need to make sure that there's a solid structure of communication. So it may mean that you are meeting with, like your point people, whoever's responsible for logistics, whoever's responsible for your vendors, and then they create committees that,
Mm-hmm.
that you have your lead people, and then they create committees.
Absolutely.
I think what happened this time is that you had people, and then people just kind of fell off without any type of notice, any type of anything. So we were all trying to fill in the blanks. So
Right, right,
you didn't have dependable people, which was
right.
unfortunate because I think the event could have looked totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for whatever the reasons are, whatever people, that's why when I joined, I told you I knew my bandwidth. um
Mm-hmm.
I do want to remain a part. I do want to help with the planning, but again, I have to be honest with you with my bandwidth, because I do have a mother that lives 900 miles away that has been diagnosed with dementia. So
Mm-hmm.
my
Thank
bandwidth may
Wow.
be it, but I will do what I can to support you in moving forward.
Well, thank you so much for that, and definitely praying for your mother and family as well. And I definitely appreciate that for sure. And I agree, kind of like our branch is set up. Dr. Shepherd is where, yes, Dr. Shepherd, Tanika, Cynthia are all members of our NAACP branch. And Dwight's been on those calls as well and understands how we have various committees. So I am going to ask each of you to at least recruit one person, whether recruit one person to join the team so that we can build out some committees. But I think most of you all have reached out to me individually or just mentioned to me that you are willing, as much as your capacity, your bandwidth will allow, you want to be back on board. So I appreciate that. And that definitely puts us a way ahead than what we've been in the past. Tanika?
Uh, can you hear me? Okay, yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You and I had spoke about this before, and hopefully you're still on board with this, is creating a list of the titles, like you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about who's going to lead which committees,
Mm-hmm.
what that looks like the responsibilities of that
Mm-hmm.
person. Therefore, um, they know what they're supposed to be doing, what each person's supposed to be doing, what you're
Mm-hmm.
responsible for, and anybody that's following up under them, what they would be responsible for. So it can kind of close some of the gap in the communication
Correct. Correct.
and the consistency.
Right. Okay. I love it. That's where we're all on the same page. So absolutely. And that's why I'm asking. I want you everybody to everything that you all sharing, just make I think Dia's making note of it. I want to capture that. And once I compile all of that, I'll let you all look at it and I'll build out the teams from that. Keenan, I almost called you Dr. Veen.
I did want to chime in right quick, if you don't mind.
Yes. Uh,
So, going back to what you all just stated, if if you're assigned a certain task and you have a checklist for yourself, if you're having difficulties, getting a particular task done, and you need maybe some extra support, then definitely speak up. If it's something that you're struggling with and you can't do, or you're having trouble doing, then speak up. And someone who may be finished with their own list of tasks can maybe pitch in to make sure that what is needed gets done,
right.
and to voice that concern. And that way, as we all come together with these meetings, I mean, I came in the last few days before the event, But as we all come together with these meetings, we can talk about, okay, what were each person able to get accomplished, and and things like that. And that way we are all up to date on that information, as we're planning things out. That's all.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Keenan and Dr. Smith. Good information, and we're going to make sure that we bring that to fruition and put that into place, as well. Um, Let me say this because my mind, of course, I got some things going on and I may not remember it like I want to. I think it would be a great idea. I'm hoping I did have another verbal, financial, commitment, to this event. And I don't know if it's going to come through. If some of you all have worked with sponsorships, you may get the, approval, but it may be a few months before you actually see that money. So I have a small one that was promised. If we get it, and after Cynthia and, Cassandra, reconcile everything, if we have a little change left, maybe we all can meet for lunch, or if you all are willing to, we all self-pay. But I really would like for us all to come together and break bread together and just kind of, touch and put some overview things out. What are some of the things that we definitely want, kind of what our vision is going to look like for year 5. And I would love, and we're not going to go backwards, but just looking forward, what is that vision? What does it look like? Can we make it look like fireworks? Oh, I don't know if that's a good example, but you know what I mean, celebratory. So I do want to try to do that if we can. So let us move on real quick. Anybody have anything else? If not, we're gonna move forward. Volunteers, we did that. Marketing. Oh, shout out to everybody. But Tanika, see, and Tony, I really didn't know your background. Again, I told you all that me, Dwight, and Tony, we're all from Longview, and I really didn't know Tony's background and what, but I was surprised when she stepped up she didn't skip a beat to say that she was going to take on the marketing piece. And I said, okay, you know, I do marketing. I don't have a marketing background, but I do a little some enough. But you did an amazing job. All of you all did an absolutely amazing job. And Cynthia came in, and I reached out to some people. So I think we did a great job with our marketing piece. And she had some videos out there. It was some consistent every week. There was stuff being posted on social media. Now I don't know how our school outreach went. I think we can kind of do a better job there. But again, a lot of you all came on maybe 2 to 3 months right before the event. So, like you all said, I think getting an early start, we all kind of know what it takes. I think we'll do a better job at all of that, bringing in the community partners. In the past, we've had several Divine Nine, like we had some representation, but normally they are in the masses. You would have been able to look around and say, seen 15 or 20, if not more, of the Kappas and the Kappa sweethearts. You would have looked around and saw a large presence of the Omegas. Like the years in past, they've been
Boo.
there in mass. Yes, Lamont. Oh, I'm just saying they all have been there in mass. So there are some things that we can do there. Tony?
Okay, speaking of the marketing, because we are starting early, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and once we have the space solidified, I don't know when you're going to do that. The marketing will go a lot smoother because the one thing for myself that frustrated me having to change the flyers
Mm-hmm.
a zillion times.
Right.
Uh, Getting the sponsors early. We have to get the sponsors early, so there will just be one flyer when it comes to the marketing.
Right. Right.
So hopefully we can have that at least 4 to 3 months before we push out marketing. And I did put
Yeah.
that on my survey.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. Thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing. Those are all very good points. And again, I'm super excited. Y'all know, again, I've been dealing with a crisis these last 24 hours. And if y'all see, I'm probably a little more lit than what I was when I first came on the call. But it's exciting to me. This is, if all of you all commit to being on board next year, that alone is going to make this event 100 times bigger and better than what it's ever been in the past. That's been our one of our gaps in the past. And so if you all are willing and committed to do that, that's definitely going to put us ahead. And also, I'm going to ask everybody on the call to help us pull together a very committed team of people that are willing to work on sponsorship. And honestly, I just need you all to find 4 or 5 people that are willing. Keenan and I think we're having a conversation. I just don't have the bandwidth to do everything. But I literally, even if they don't know how to do it, if they're willing to say that's they will take that on, I will walk them through everything they need to do. I'll tell them exactly who they need to call, and we can get the sponsorships in. But it's just I can't do everything. So it was a lot of sponsorships that were left on the table just because I gave the information and people said they were going to do it and they never reached out. So good deal. And I totally agree with that. Anybody else have any comments there?
Yeah, as far as sponsorships, we have enough time to get those sponsors that you were looking for, like the Amazons and all of that, because it has a process. To be fair to most of us that came on 3 months ago, it really wasn't enough time to get those large sponsors.
Right,
And
right.
again, starting so early now, you can hit the ground running.
Kenan also pointed out, so we had branding. Walmart had those bags. Texas Credit Union's truck was there. 97.9 had their banner, display of their banner. It was somebody else that Keenan pointed. But basically, the point was showing Dallas College, showing in our upcoming year, showing some of the branding that we were able to use this year to try to encourage those entities and more to let them see that they're going to have visibility, basically, that it's going to be worth it for them to invest and be a sponsor. So yeah, and I know, go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the things that I mentioned is very important, and I did what I could, is having a videographer. We had a photographer there, the young man that you know, President Bates. But having a videographer there to put together a nice little reel to show everyone that came and participated, the vendors, all of that. So when I went around, I was taking pictures, I was capturing overhead shots and videos, as well as the vendor tables and the organizations that they represented, the FW Metro table, and so on and so forth. So I'm in the process of putting together a video now just to show how this year's event, went. And to me, it was a success. And we just need a more professional person to be able to do that while we're doing our part in making sure that everything flows smoothly. Because that's part of marketing, and in today's age, if it's not recorded, then it didn't happen. So that's something we definitely have to have, or at least having a budget to be able to do for next year for sure.
Right. Thank you, Tony and Keenan. Dia, make note of Keenan. What was the wolf people called? Meow Wolf. Is that right? I think so.
Mm.
Me, Dia, write down Meow Wolf as a potential sponsor. And then also with the meeting with under marketing, I'm not sure. This is the first year. I'm not sure if it did. I'm not aware of it. I don't think a press release went out. So make sure to make note of that as part of our checklist. That has to happen. Because normally in the past, we've actually had media coverage from local stations there. So we need to make sure we put that on our checklist. If nothing else there, let's go ahead and move to venues and logistics. Anybody have any comments there? Lamont, if you'll take the, yeah, go. Oh, yeah, we're almost finished. Venue and logistics, anybody got anything? Setup, I know on Friday night, Andre, Lamont, and Keenan, myself, Jeff, and Monica, Dr. Tawana. We all did meet up at the venue and set some things up. TGE, their crowd, their team was there. And then we did have a couple of walkthroughs. We want to again having a team on board and a solid team. And that's why I really, you all, even if we had to find something affordable and cheap and we everybody pay for their own meal, I want us to break bread together. That's going to help us build those relationships that are going to be necessary for us to move forward. I want you all to build friendships, and that's going to help us have a very solid group because we'll have a better understanding. Like me, some of you all have worked with me for a while. I have a dry humor. So if somebody doesn't know me, I may say something that sounds sarcastic and I may not break a smile. I may not change my voice. I may not giggle or anything, but I'm saying it in humor. So being able to really break bread with one another and get to know one another, I have found in my role as a leader that can have a huge impact. So I want us to somebody take on finding us a day that works for everybody. And I find that doing stuff like that works better on a Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon. Let's find a time that we all can break bread together and just fellowship, you know. Um,
I think
so we
I think that kind of go in line with what Tony was saying about having that list of point people,
mm-hmm,
because I think having that clear communication that funnels down, because when you have final walkthroughs and those types of things, your lead people need to be there. You can't
absolutely.
call in saying at the last minute that's responsible for everything that just don't show up. Um,
Right.
because I think that was a big part of the communication breakdown. Um,
Absolutely.
I mean, I even had like the volunteer huddle. I think Angel, that was over the entire project, should have been at some of those meetings so that if there was something that was not in alignment, she could bring that up and those things could be discussed versus the day of the show.
Right.
Um, there's just a total communication breakdown. And it's like, this is the way it's going to be, but that's not what was discussed. So that's
Right.
why it's important that those structures are put in place and that there's
Mm-hmm,
a total funnel of communication consistent,
mm-hmm.
when those things come up.
Um, of course, I agree 1000%. I think what's going to help with that is that we're going to get started early. So within, it's kind of like dating, they're going to weed themselves in or they're going to weed themselves out. So by month 2 or 3, the weeds will be, they will have fallen off by then. So I totally agree. Like tonight, I think tonight's meeting, again, I'm dealing with a crisis and I'm on this call. So if we're on the call, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I totally agree with Dr. Tawana's comment there. So let's move forward. Lunch, dinner, anybody got any comments about any of that? Okay. Also, I think I'm so super excited. Credit Union of Texas is already on board, wants to know the date so that we can lock them in for next year. Let's also everybody try to get ask on the streets. Are there any other organizations that we can maybe consider that may be willing to help us out there so that maybe we'll have some options? I would have loved for Chick-fil-A to roll their van in there and gave away some food to these kids. But again, I know of the two that I brought on, but let's see. And I definitely would want the Texas Credit Union to do lunch instead of dinner. But let's find out our options. Tony, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm listening to you. I'm just gonna jump in there. Hey, get the date locked down.
Right.
Get the
Oh
date
yeah.
locked down so we can get
Hmm.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I think it's on. I think my tentative date is at the bottom, but we so scroll down. Let's go ahead and move forward if no one else has anything else there. Challenges and areas for improvement. Um, okay,
Uh,
okay.
President
Go
Bates,
ahead.
can I say something right quick?
Absolutely.
When we spoke, you also made mention about like what was it? Some other prizes or gifts as far as
The swag bags.
no, yeah, I think it was like um laptops,
Oh
computers or
yes,
something.
yes. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for bringing it up, OG. Dia, please make note of that. Put that on the checklist. Microsoft, I do have a number and I want somebody else to help with Microsoft TRTI or IBM. Let's put that on there because again, if we reach out in advance, like Tony has stressed, we could possibly get a grant where we can give because my goal would be that even if a child doesn't win, I want everybody to go home for something. And that's a good way too to make sure that everybody stays. So we could say, okay, everybody that stays is going to get a laptop or a tablet, at 5 o'clock, you know. So thank you so much, Keenan, for bringing that up. Absolutely. Absolutely. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
no problem. I was just going to say too, even with the food, maybe having someone to cater the food who might want to, participate in the events that we have to give them, some exposure,
Hmm.
where we could have, breakfast and lunch, and it'll be better, overall, just instead of just sandwiches or
Hmm.
just snacks, something more wholesome. But
Hmm.
again, since we have the time to get all of that in line, reaching out to some restaurants or maybe some black-owned restaurants where they might want to participate, and
Hmm.
try to get them on board too.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And mentioning that, thank you for that. Cynthia, you did the presentation with everybody's headshot from the committees and stuff. Let's get together so I can give you the login information, either you or Tony, because I want to recognize our committee, even if we just put the names in and make sure that it's okay with everybody on the call. I want to give you all some acknowledgement and recognition for having participated to help make this a success for sure. Okay, let's scroll down. And Keenan, remember that that particular, I have some more questions about that. So make note of that so I can ask you about it again. What do we have here, Lamont? What challenges? Okay, okay, good. Go. Let me see up above survey. Let me make sure I covered that. Okay, logistics, lunch, dinner, challenges. So let me just read this out there so we can kind of answer the rest of the feedback all together. Challenges and areas for improvement. I think we've mentioned a lot, but I want to read all of these out. So if it's anything that we didn't cover, I want to make sure we make note of it because I want Dia to capture it. So challenges and areas for improvement. I think most of them have already been answered, brought up. But if there's anything else, y'all, we gotta, no matter what it is, just like Dr. Tawana, it might have been a little uncomfortable, but we got to put the good, bad, and the ugly out there in order for us to make it bigger and better. So, are there any challenges or areas for improvement that we need to make sure that we notate? Challenges that we encountered? Any processes that we need to do? I think we mentioned all of that, but if it's anything we didn't cover, you all make sure to mention it now so Dia can capture it.
So I had a thought
Hmm.
actually during the event.
Hmm.
So we have speakers, but I think we really need to think about what kind of speakers are we looking for. And I know we kind of took like whoever wanted to speak but like somebody's gonna keep the kids' interest or at least like if you're a speaker, here's your expectations, or
Mm.
versus anybody can get up there and talk, but are you a speaker to capture the kids' attention?
So unfortunately for me, and one thing, and like I said, I think bringing this whole team on board is going to help with that in the future. Unfortunately for me, because it was so many other areas that I deemed to be a little sloppy. And I'm talking about from time logistically, not the overall event, but I had blisters under my feet because it was just so much that was irking me that I wanted to be a little smoother. So I didn't get to really hear. And then, like Kenan said, we didn't have the videographers where I could have even gone back because I really wanted to hear. But I do know, I think Dr. Shepard, the Erica Johnson young lady, I think was her name. And then I think Dr. Makaye, J. Veal, they all should have been pretty excellent speakers. I didn't get to hear the others, and everything was just kind of all over the place. So I'm not sure. Dr. Shepard.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I agree, Mr. Cotton, but I think the speakers were not the issue. Speaking for me, I was sitting with uh Andre closely because we were coordinating the slide decks and all of the things. I think the gap was we didn't have everybody's undivided attention. And I do
Right.
public speaking, and me being in a leadership role, that right there is gonna steal your spunk, it's gonna steal your joy. It diverts the attention from your whole focal point because we could have had somebody come up there from IBM or PlayStation, it still wouldn't have got
Mm-hmm.
the attention or the reverence that it deserved just because of logistically how it kind of went when it
Absolutely.
once that free play happened. That was kind of a wrap. And when you are dealing with young people who are their own intentional focus is here for gaming, that's what their one singular focus is going to be. So I
I'm
think
telling you.
logistically, having it structured to where like you gonna sit and get and we'll do interactive, but you have to go through this to get to that.
Well,
And a
like,
lot of them,
I agree.
once
I
we
agree.
dangled that, once they snatched that carrot, some of them there was a wrap. But some of the parents were engaged in informational, but you could barely hear some of the speakers because the acoustics wasn't right, and we should have had clickers for them so they could like click the screen too.
mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm.
like some kids were playing, you couldn't even hear them because they over there hooping and hollering.
Right. And like I said, when I tell you again, I just have to be honest. We made it through it. And I started seeing like folks missing meetings. It was just some stuff that was going on with our planning meetings where I was getting worried. And that's why I told you all, I said, y'all, let's make sure these kids stay safe. Let's get through this event and just try to let's move it forward. I was starting to see things that were concerning me just even in our planning. But again, in my head, I don't want it because I don't want it. I'm trying to be careful in what I say because wouldn't want you all to misinterpret it. But when I came off that stage and I noticed that we had speakers up there speaking, and the kid, it was so much noise in there, and I couldn't hear. And it dawned on me that these kids were. I'm like, who told these kids to get over? Who allowed this free play stuff? Who did it? I was furious. And that was the whole point of setting up the chairs. And that's why it was kind of like, and then the stage got canceled. I'm sitting here like, who the hell canceled the stage? And it's just, I could have screamed, y'all. What little hair I got on my head, I could have pulled it out. We're all on the same page. Because that was not the plan. Like again, this is not our first year. This is our fourth year. In previous past, we've never allowed this. So I could not comprehend how that happened. That was the whole purpose of having speakers, is that the kids were going to listen to the speakers. And as Dr. Tawana said, our last meeting on Tuesday, I think it was, we agreed. Everybody that was on the call, we agreed. Number one, we were short volunteers for the afternoon. We wanted to back to back to back to back to back, get those speakers taken care of. And then that afternoon was going to be open, vendors, music, kids are doing the gaming. That was what the plan was. So, but and again with the seatings in lecture style, the intent was the kids are gonna sit here and listen. I don't know what happened, but it sounds like all of us on this call are on the same page. So it has been noted. Okay. Um, Anybody else? Okay, good deal. Okay, again, I told y'all I got all the surveys. Bear with me. Let me deal with this and try to get that out. Celebration dish. Okay. Uh I want y'all to put it in the chat for me. And I want y'all to tell so as you all see, I have the tentative date is March the 7th, which again is the first Saturday in March. I think if we stick, and then one thing that we've seen, y'all talked about how the weather was bad. The weather was bad. But I think with the weather being bad, we had a full house for the event on the front end, correct? So, with that being said, like Tony, everybody on the call has said, getting a head start. I think we're gonna pack out the place. Keenan has said, and everybody has stated, we need to be prepared to use all the space that we have allowed to us for us. So, I think it might be a good idea if we. I want us to do that. Also, I want to move forward because we need to wrap this up because we're over things in the future. I'm gonna throw my stuff out there. I want to tell y'all what I want this to look like really, really quickly. I want us to dream big, think big. Oh, so that should be March the 6th then. Uh, March the 6th. Somebody it's already pointed there, but somebody drop it in the group me chat. Um Scholarships and awards. I want us to include a scholarship. So I'm gonna go big. DIS Dallas College. So y'all be praying with me. I want them to donate a scholarship. Yes, I did. That's exactly what I want to see. I want the robot man on the stilts to be there. That's what I want. I still am gonna beg for this fog and the whatever that fog stuff. What Keita, what is it called?
Um,
The
yeah,
fog.
it's the fog or
What'd you call it, Lamont?
Like a smoke machine, fog machine.
Yeah, all that. I
yeah.
want all that. I want all that. Pyretics or what is it called?
Pyrotechnic.
Yeah, all that stuff. I want all of that. I want the neon lights. I want the gaming look. I want all that good stuff. Okay. Also, all that stuff you all talked about, all the interactive stuff. I want gaming and I want a hackathon because we had a family that left because their kids thought the games were going to be played on the computers. So had we had the hackathon and the hackathon and coding component, we would have captured that crowd. So I want all of that. I want the scholarship. I want the pep rally thing. I want the pep rally to be taken on a whole different level. I still like what Dwight said to have some performances throughout the day, but I want us to really, 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 really push that pep rally so we can get the energy and the hype up. I missed the dancers. But yes. So I want to do
So
all of that. And again, for us to start early, get some major, major, major talent there for that pep rally component from 9 to 10. Okay.
I captured the dancers on
Oh,
video, so
good.
I'm gonna have that
So
in
I
there
will
too.
get to see it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
so
Thank you. Thank you.
I did have, like I said, I had 10 people call me and say they would be there, but it was just such late notice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
with the
Okay,
time, I
so
think
we're gonna start
we'll be
working on it.
good.
So
Yeah.
like y'all said, just like we're gonna have key speakers, we're gonna have some key performances that folks want to see as well, like the dances we had. Lamont, make sure you get me a name and email for that team because I need to I am still gonna send the thank yous and stuff out. I have the stuff written up, but like I said, after what I just dealt with, I'm a little delayed, but it will go out. I'm definitely gonna take care of the young DJ Lamont. I want all young DJs that afternoon. Let's find some more kids to give them some space to have some experience in this. Okay. So start working on it now and get us some that can go back to back to back to back. Okay.
Yeah, well,
Um,
yeah, I'll work on that.
okay, good. Listen, we got 12 months, right? So I'm gonna say 10 months because I want us to be able to take off in November and December. Our event has always been the last week of January, aligning with the Dim Black Film Festival, and that caused me to have to be stressed during the holidays. My eye just started twitching thinking about it. So I want us to plan in advance so that we can go be with our families in November and December. I don't even want to be thinking about all of this then. So my goal for fundraising is going to be $20,000. We talked about the scholarship. We talked about the tablet, the laptop, anything big, y'all. It's going to be our fifth one. What can y'all think about big that we hadn't already talked about that we need to add on the list? Y'all see me doing the shimmy? What y'all got?
I was thinking, since they were playing the gaming system, I'm kind of out of pocket with that because I don't play video games like that. But
Uh-huh.
maybe have that as a prize. Maybe one of them may not have a video game, so get with,
Okay, the
you
console.
know, yeah,
Yes, that is possible because we can get Nintendo, Xbox, we can get them to donate that. That's no problem. So Dia, definitely put that down. I love
yeah.
that. Anybody else? Y'all add to it. It's our fifth annual one, and we need to take it off the charts, knock it out the park. Lamont?
Yeah, I was gonna say we kind of mentioned it earlier, but really, like, what do we do for the parents as well?
Mhm.
So
Well, that's that whole speaking component, like I said, geared toward it doesn't have to be AI, but something career-based, tech-based, like leadership-based, Find we got time to plan on putting some topics out there, like doing the panel discussion. That's something we've never done before. I think that'll be neat, you know.
yeah.
Um, so let's think that through. Definitely looking more, like I said, we appeal to the kids with the gaming tournament component. Let's find something specifically that's going to appeal to the parents to get them there. Dr. Shepard?
Oh no, ma'am. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
agree.
Okay, no worries. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, celebrity gamers and tech influencers. So let's look for that. Um, So yeah, so March the 6th, I'll change that. That's the tentative date. First weekend in March. Does anybody have any opposition to that? And
Mhm.
then, okay, go ahead, Mr. Bean. Okay, I'm sorry, Keita. In the chat. Oh yes, photo booth. Absolutely, dear. Make sure you note that in the chat. I want to know. Can you all put in the chat who's planning to stay on board? If you all would comment, I'm in the comment section if you plan on being a part of our event for next year. So if you plan on being on board next year, type in the comment section, I'm in, so we can know who's all in. And then, as Dr. Smith has said, I want, again, if there's anything that you all find pertinent that needs to be on the checklist, just throw it out there so Dia can capture it. I'm gonna get all of that information and I'm gonna compile it into a checklist, and I'm gonna break it up and put our committees. To me, you all would be our core leadership team, and then we'll build under and bring people in under each one of you. Okay.
President Bates, could we possibly do, like, for the parents that was there, maybe do just get their feedback as to what they would like to see for next year, so we'll
Yes.
know.
Yes, I'll send it to you. Remember the surveys that I shared with you?
Yeah,
Yes, it's
but
in there. I just gotta send
okay.
it out.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
gotcha.
that's in there. And what I'll do, thank you for bringing it up, Keenan. I shared most of it with you, but I'm going to share all of the links before I send them out. I'll drop those in the chat again. I'll do that in a couple. I'll do it when I get back up to my mom's room, because I have already created the surveys, and yeah, I'll put it in the group me chat. I don't want to put it here and then nobody can get capture it. So I'll put it in the group me chat so you all can look over it. And I'm gonna do my best to get it there tomorrow. But I know the doctors want to do some stuff with the family tomorrow, with the situation that's going on with my mother. So I don't know how much time I have to do it tomorrow, but I'm gonna try. Okay, so if all minds are clear, anybody got anything else? Don't be shy.
I have a random request. Can we get copies of the otter notes if we miss a meeting, like the just on request?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And tonight's meet definitely, because tonight is important. I definitely want everybody to get tonight's information. And again, I'm asking everybody on the call, recruit somebody either for your committee or for somebody else's committee. Okay. If you all think, because once Dia gives me that document, if you all think of anything else, we'll make sure it goes on the document. Everybody will have access to it. Great meeting. We went an hour and a half, but we covered a lot. If you did not complete the survey, please complete the survey. Okay. Keenan, Cynthia, I saw y'all on mute.
Yeah, I want one last thing I want to say. So, out of everything that we discussed, one of the most important things is making sure that we provide customer service to everyone that comes in and out of that place. Making sure that everyone is okay, just talking to them, making yourself known and present, and letting them know, hey, if you need anything, I'm around. All the other volunteers are around. That's very, very important. I was doing that in the beginning when I had the time to, and I could tell that made a difference. So
Oh yeah.
let's not forget that either.
So thank you for that, Keenan, for sure. Dia make note of that, but not only that, we had a whole box of those fluorescent vests that was supposed to be for the volunteers, and it never got open. So we have access to that. Yep, that dinner, we're gonna do the dinner for sure. If anybody wants to volunteer to make sure we get that on the calendar, we can just pick a restaurant and go there. Like I said, the funds don't come through, if we can find something affordable where everybody can pick up their own meal, that'll be great. Another thing that I almost forgot, please, y'all give me 2 seconds because I'm having a brain fog and it was something important that I wanted to mention. Oh, shirts. Every year we I've mentioned it, it just never followed through. Again, custom ink. Like I can give y'all the information of what we need to do. I just can't do it. So I need people that are gonna do what I'm telling them to do. The stuff we can do it. Custom ink will pay for our shirts. We can get the signage company to be one of our sponsors, and then we can have big banners for all of our major donors. So custom ink, make note of that deal. Custom Ink, the signage companies, all of them are sponsors that would pay for the signage. That also would pay for the shirts. We gotta have shirts. Because some Keenan, what you said, that's another way where people would know who's who and know that we're all part of the planning team had we all had shirts on. I don't know about that. I want to do that, but y'all know I want to come in with my bling and in costume and tutus and
Mhm.
okay. I'm sorry, I'm back. I had a moment.
Oh, and Dr. Shepard said, Crystal, that he has a fog machine, so he got you.
What? Shut the
Yeah,
front door. What?
yes, yeah. I have a file machine. I have a photo booth, the 360 photo booth. My fiance, she makes shirts.
What?
He the plug.
Okay, y'all. So there we go. There we
Dr.
go.
Shepherd over there hiding out.
Well,
Yes,
now I
yes.
mean, look. I was just trying to get in where I fit in. Now I got the gist of everything, and
Right.
got a whole year to plan. So I mean, I get giveaways of Maverick tickets and all of that stuff. So we
Oh, I
can do
love
Oh,
it.
raffles
nice.
and all of that. So now with a year of planning, we'll be good.
Yes, exactly. So last thing, and we are gonna wrap up. Thank you all for that. And just know I truly, 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 truly love each and every one of you. You all did an amazing job. You all did an amazing job. We had an amazing event. We kept everybody safe. The kids had fun. And even when we were giving away the prizes, and the child that said he'd been there 2 or 3 years, and his dad was just as excited as he was. And so and let me ask you all, do you all feel and see it's a fun event. It's a really fun event, right?
Yeah, they look
So
forward to it.
yes,
That's what
yes,
surprised me. The ones that had like that's they look forward to March, and so
right,
just that alone, I'm so they like, yeah, I'm coming back next year, and
right.
I'm gonna try to
Mhm.
win again, or I'm gonna try to do better. And a lot of them were networking. Like I saw one little guy, he was writing, giving people number, like we gonna link up when we get home. I was like, oh, okay, well, go ahead then.
I love that. I love that for the kids, and even with some of us, a lot of you all connected with one another. Y'all built some relationships and stuff. So I enjoy the whole thing. Like I told y'all, I really look forward to the event. Now I was doing stuff to prepare, but also I was excited to the point I didn't even go to sleep till 5 o'clock, and then wake up on time. Uh, Keenan said I didn't have no intentions on being there on time, but that's a whole nother story. but yeah, as y'all see, I
That
get
sounds
really
about
excited. You said what?
that sounds about right.
Well, listen, I'm gonna do better though. But yeah, I'm serious. I didn't lay down. I didn't go to sleep till 5 o'clock that morning. I was like, oh Lord Jesus. But and then so yeah, but so we're gonna work on that, y'all. And if y'all come up with any other ideas, write it down, capture it. Again, we're gonna set a Sunday where we're gonna go fellowship together and hang out a little bit, and we'll find at least one other thing, social event to do over the summer, just to make sure we reinforce our bond with working together. Again, as a leader, I think those type of things are very important. Okay, so I think that's all. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. And you all, please keep my mother in prayer. Again, we're still here in Houston, and I'll probably be here until we can, get things sorted out. And they say she can go home. Um, they uh, they did. My mother had to have an emergency surgery, and she had to get a trach today. She's dealing with, they also found that she has pneumonia. She's not able to talk, so just a lot. So just definitely keep my mom in prayer. Um, when are we gonna meet again? I need to get the surveys in, and once I get those surveys in, I do know, even if it's only 30 minutes, we need to thank you all for the prayers for sure. Even if it's just 30 minutes, I think we need to, once I get them in, where we all can look at them and kind of discuss them, even if it's 30 minutes. So either we can wait and do that over breaking bread, or we can have another virtual call. Now, we do need to take a break for a month or two, for at least a month, not more than a month. And then we can maybe set a cadence where we meet every other week or once a month. I really honestly would like to work hard on the front end and then pull off over the summer, and then pick back up like February of next year with every week. Does that make sense? So we do need to take a break. Okay. So let's think about that, and we'll touch base, and I'll put it in the chat. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. You all have a blessed and absolute. Lamont, you were about to say something too?
Oh no, I'm
Okay,
just
good.
yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Keenan don't call it he second the motion to quit to end the call. Yes, I love you all. Y'all have an amazing day. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You too, President Bates, and our prayer goes out to you and your family.
All right. Thank you, Keenan. I
Bye.
appreciate it. Uh-huh. All right. Y'all take care. Save this. Say chat. I did that. Cynthia. Oh, before you hang up, um, Cynthia, it's something specific that I wanted you to do because it involves the treasury stuff.
I have the addresses for the winners, and you said you wanted to do the Amazon gift cards for the speakers.
Yes. Well, this is the thing. We need to look at how much we've spent so far to
Okay.
make sure we got the money. That's first of all. And then see how much we could have, if we decide to take everybody out.
Okay.
I really would like for us to do that. I mean, they put so much time in, the least we can do is feed them, you know?
Right.
So
But
let's
I still
see.
don't have access to the bank. I think we tried to set up a meeting for next Monday. Me, Cassandra, and Monica are all available on Monday, on the
It
16th.
and I would have to be there too, right?
I think so, yes, to
Please
transfer.
let them know what I'm dealing with my mom, because I don't